Jimmy Fallon may decide my fate in this game.
It's those kind of statements that are everything wrong with modern Survivor.
I've never been one to bite the hand that feeds me.
I listened to Johnny Bananas and Wes kiss the production team's asses. What is up, everybody? As we approach the end of 2025, I thought I'd do a video on the state of competition reality shows, which today we're looking closely at Survivor and the challenge, because Survivor is rightfully being torn to shreds regarding their promo, their trailer, their preview for Survivor 50, which is supposed to be their first big returning season since 2020 and the all-winners season. They're celebrating 50 years of Survivor, but in the trailer they decided to promote random celebrities and random celebrity-themed advantages to celebrate 50 years of Survivor, as if that has any connection whatsoever.
It's a Billie Eilish boomerang idol.
Jimmy Fallon may decide my fate in this game.
In the preview, someone's saying that Jimmy Fallon might decide their fate in the game. It's those kind of statements that are everything wrong with modern Survivor. These random twists that just screw people over rather than let people play the game, which is what fascinated the world in the first place, was watching people be themselves and play these games and not have the games play them. And then lastly, Mr. Beast comes in the promo, which is a cross promotion between Survivor and his own reality show on Amazon, which is being highly questioned because of Jeff Probst's bitterness to anyone on Survivor that went and did other shows. So we are also seeing Jeff Probst be a major hypocrite. No surprise there. He's quite the dumbass these days. I don't know what happened to Jeff Probst when he got that producer role, but the more and more time has gone on, the more and more Jeff has done so much damage to the show and the game overall. Because for many years, Probst was against people from Survivor going on the Traitors. And he would say that if they appeared on the Traitors, they wouldn't appear on Survivor. Now, clearly that has changed because Suri appeared on the Traitors and will be on season 50 of Survivor. But that is a statement Jeff has made in the past. But now Jeff is cross-promoting with Mr. Beast. Probst appeared on his reality show, and now Mr. Beast is here on Survivor. But I still just don't know what this actually does for Survivor. I feel like they are trying to always get themselves new fans, maybe younger fans with Mr. Beast's appearance. I don't really know what Jimmy Fallon brings to the table in getting new fans, but maybe naming advantage after Billie Eilish will get new fans. But this kind of thing from the show isn't working. Like this past season, season 49, was the least watched season of Survivor by far. And so for longtime Survivor fans who were excited for season 50, I'm not really one of them. I've struggled to watch the last two seasons. I don't really love this cast, even though it's a bunch of returnees. Not even half the cast excites me to watch them play again. And so the problems continue to pile up for Survivor, and I do believe that Jeff Probst is the problem. Now, the challenge has its own issues, because as bad as Survivor ratings are getting, they still have a very, 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 very strong demo, at least compared to the rest of like basic television. I'm talking like CBS, NBC, ABC, Fox. They still have one of the better demos out there. So they're not really close to being canceled if you look at the demo. As long as those networks covet the demo, Survivor is fine, even if their total viewership is plummeting. But I don't think the total viewership can plummet for long before it also affects your demo. The challenge ratings are not only it's horrible, but MTV is like canceling things that they have had on their show or their network 24/7. When MTV canceled Ridiculousness, which was the show they had on basically 24/7 on their network, that was probably a bad sign. And Paramount's having all these changes. MTV as an entity, I don't even know how long that's going to be around now. You can say the challenge could always just go to Paramount Plus and be on streaming, and that is a possibility. But news came out that they just canceled their own The Challenge official podcast. And so we are seeing things slowly being taken away from the challenge. We won't have a new challenge season until like the summer of 2026 at the earliest, which is the longest amount of time between seasons in a very long time for the show. One thing that did go wrong was with the challenge was the oversaturation of the challenge when we had the challenge CBS, the challenge All-Stars on Paramount, the regular challenge show on the MTV. This was happening all at the same time. There was a little too much the challenge around, which is the only thing that makes me think the challenge can survive the turmoil they are going through right now, is that clearly Paramount at one point saw it as a show that's cheap to make, so we can make a bunch of different variants and put it all on the same few years, even if that is oversaturation. That's the only thing that's going to keep the show alive, is if it gets cheaper and cheaper. But the things that have been working against a lot of these shows for a very long time, and I feel like I've been talking about this since I've started this channel 5 years ago, is the production on these shows. For so long, and still to this day, Big Brother production is ass. They finally had a season where the ratings went up, but it really wasn't thanks to production. In fact, when production made their big twist mistake during the season, the ratings fell. They free-falled until the finale when it went back up. These production teams, I feel like they're always trying to come up with new ideas, but at some point, at least for a large stretch of seasons, I do feel like they should be able to say, if it's not broke, don't fix it. I don't understand why Big Brother and Survivor make all the changes they've made over the years that have made the show worse, but they have. And I feel like maybe it's a way that they save their own jobs because, hey, this is our new idea. We're always coming up with new ideas to help the show, but they never help the show. In fact, more times than not, they hurt the show and hurt the ratings. But that's show business for you, honestly. That's why all of these major companies in Hollywood are failing miserably right now. I feel like for too long, these people in these production teams have not earned their paychecks. And we are starting to see, finally, after decades of that, networks are going out of business. Shows that have been on for a long time are ending. And it has to do with the people at the top failing. And that is what is happening with the Challenge production team. I listened to Johnny Bananas and Wes kiss the production team's asses.
If we're talking about people not being brought back on the show, this is also kind of a relevant topic right now. I've never been one to bite the hand that feeds me, dude. And as much as obviously I could say, oh, well, you know, the show is great, you know, or is better because I'm on it, or the network was better because, like, you know, you, me, we've been on it. But we've never done, we've always appreciated the fact that it's like, yes, but you gave us the platform to do this. We now have these cast members that are openly like going to war and openly questioning production and how they do rules. And then they're complaining that they're not being invited back. Horacio and Nerys.
About how certain players get cast and then they want to talk shit about production. And to me, it's similar to Jeff Probst, where you want to be bitter towards people because they want to call you out on your shitty production ways, on some of your challenges that are clearly advantages for other players within the game. When production wants to interfere too much on the game, I think they should be called out. In fact, I like to do that a lot here, but obviously I'm not on that show. And the people that are on the show, Nerys was one of the people that Johnny Bananas called out. didn't like some of the things that happened with production, some of their rules. But watching this past season, where the challenge finally had another mediocre season for their main show, it only worked because they finally got casting better than usual. It wasn't the same old shit. It wasn't a bunch of newbies that provide nothing. They finally had a pretty good balance of vets with newbies that were providing a lot. Now, the big problem I had with the season was the cheating and the way that the challenge did not deal with the cheating. We saw that challenge that took up an entire episode where they had to basically just throw out the challenge because everyone was cheating. That tells me right there that the challenge really does suck with their rules. Then at the final, there's cheating again from Theo, stealing things, but it's Michaela and Cedric that take the fall for another team cheating. Like, sometimes the rules on this show are clearly done poorly, or they're just not followed up with. So that definitely did bring down this past season for me. There was clearly a lot of cheating going on that was blatant, and the show did nothing about that. And so for Bananas to get in on there and complain about other people complaining, of course Bananas is going to do that. He still wants to be cast for the millionth time, which is another big problem with the challenge. I don't feel like the people that are now in their 40s are bringing anything to the show anymore. I really don't feel that way. And it's not that they're in their 40s, it's that they're in their 40s and have appeared over 10 times. You've had your moments. They don't really work anymore. You can only watch the same people for so long, do the same things, that once they get to a certain age and still try and do the same things, clearly it doesn't get ratings. Clearly it doesn't get ratings because the show is failing and failing badly. This genuinely could be the last season of the challenge ever. So this is the kind of shit that is happening in modern reality TV. I've seen a lot of people online bringing up this great point about how society is getting worse and worse out there. Like, it is ugly out there in society, but these reality shows are trying to be more and more cookie cutter, doing the opposite thing rather than just giving us the mess and the drama that the rest of society is actually giving us right now. I don't know why shows like Survivor, Big Brother want to be so cookie cutter. Even the challenge has gone a more cookie cutter route when that was like the mecca of reality TV drama for a long time. People are suggesting that MTV or Paramount need to bring back shows like The Real World or Road Rules, but they don't seem to want to do that, even though I think that would be good for society. And then you could have what they used to do for the challenge, bring people from those shows to appear on the challenge. That's when the show really worked very well, all within the same family. Like, I love watching people from Big Brother and Survivor appear sometimes, depending on who that is, but the casting for the challenge usually gets that wrong too. Honestly, my hope is that Peacock continues to own the reality game that they are right now. The Traitors starts in a few weeks, and I am looking forward to that season. I do like the cast for this upcoming season. I wish Peacock could come up with a concept like The Real World for right now. I think that could work. You know, just call it The Reality World or something. Put people in a house and call it The Reality World. Just rip off Paramount, since they clearly don't want to take the initiative to fix their reality shows. Survivor is looking so bad. The fandom has turned on it. The challenge ratings are almost getting it canceled. Things about the challenge are getting canceled, like their podcast. Like, I don't know. Things are looking bleak for the Paramount, CBS, MTV family of reality shows.